What if the reason your keto diet stalled, made you miserable, or just felt unsustainable had nothing to do with your willpower and everything to do with the foods you were choosing? I spent over a year eating the same boring rotation of chicken breast, plain eggs, and lettuce, wondering why I felt exhausted, why my cravings never went away, and why everyone else seemed to thrive on this diet while I was barely hanging on. Then I discovered these 10 foods. And honestly, everything changed. If you had told me sooner that keto could actually taste good, feel good, and keep you full for hours, I would have stuck with it from the very beginning. So let's get into the 10 keto foods I genuinely wish I had started eating sooner, because some of these are going to surprise you. Number 1 is ribeye steak, and before you say you already know about steak on keto, hear me out. Most people doing keto gravitate toward leaner cuts because they still have this old, fat is bad mentality buried somewhere in their brain. I was one of those people. But ribeye is one of the most nutrient-dense, fat-rich, satisfying cuts of beef you can eat. It is loaded with zinc, iron, B vitamins, and creatine, all while having 0 carbs. When I finally started eating ribeye regularly, my energy stabilized in a way that plain chicken breast never managed to do. Fat keeps you full, and ribeye delivers that in a way that makes you forget you are even on a diet. Number 2 is sardines, and I know. Stay with me. Sardines are one of the most underrated keto foods on the planet. A single can gives you a solid hit of omega-3 fatty acids, protein, calcium, and vitamin D. They are cheap, they require 0 preparation, and they are incredibly filling. The omega-3s are particularly important on keto because many people load up on red meat and forget to balance their fat intake. Once I started adding sardines a few times a week, my inflammation went down, my joints felt better, and my brain felt sharper. Canned in olive oil, they are genuinely delicious once you get past the mental block. Number 3 is avocado. And yes, you have probably heard this one before, but are you actually eating it every single day? Because you should be. One medium avocado gives you around 15 grams of healthy monounsaturated fat, nearly 10 grams of fiber, and a ton of potassium. Potassium is massively important on keto because your kidneys excrete more electrolytes when you cut carbs, and most people do not replace them. Low potassium is one of the main reasons people feel terrible in the early weeks of keto. Avocado solves that problem while also tasting incredible. Number 4 is bone broth, and this one genuinely transformed how I felt during the first few weeks of any keto reset. When you drop carbs, your body flushes water and electrolytes fast. Bone broth replenishes sodium and other minerals almost immediately. It also contains collagen and gelatin, which support gut health and joint function. I used to skip breakfast entirely and just drink a warm mug of bone broth, and it kept hunger away for hours. If you have ever experienced the keto flu, bone broth is one of the fastest natural remedies available. Number 5 is full-fat Greek yogurt. And this one surprised me because dairy can be tricky on keto. But full-fat Greek yogurt, in a reasonable portion, tends to work beautifully for most people. It sits at around 5 to 8 grams of carbs per serving, depending on the brand, and it delivers protein, probiotics, and that creamy, satisfying texture that makes you feel like you are eating something indulgent. The probiotics support gut health, which matters more on keto than people realize because dietary changes can seriously disrupt your microbiome. Number 6 is macadamia nuts, and these are in a completely different category compared to other nuts. Most nuts are relatively high in omega-6 fatty acids and easy to overeat. Macadamia nuts are unusually high in monounsaturated fat and very low in carbs, making them basically the perfect keto snack. They are also incredibly filling, so you naturally stop after a small handful instead of mindlessly eating through the whole bag the way you might with cashews or almonds. Number 7 is dark leafy greens, and I am talking about things like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. I spent so much of my early keto journey avoiding vegetables because I was worried about carbs, and that was a huge mistake. These greens are almost entirely fiber and water with minimal net carbs, and they are absolutely packed with magnesium, folate, and vitamin K. Magnesium is the electrolyte most keto dieters are deficient in, and low magnesium causes muscle cramps, poor sleep, and anxiety. A few cups of spinach sautéed in butter solves a lot of problems at once. Number 8 is eggs. And while this is not exactly a surprising recommendation, the way most people eat eggs on keto is wrong. Scrambled eggs cooked in a tiny bit of spray oil? That misses the entire point. Eggs cooked in generous amounts of butter or rendered bacon fat, with the yolks still slightly runny, are a completely different experience. The yolk is where most of the nutrition lives, including choline, which is critical for brain function and liver health. Eat the whole egg, cook it in real fat, and stop treating it like a diet food. Number 9 is coconut oil, and specifically, the way you use it matters. Coconut oil is one of the richest sources of medium-chain triglycerides, which are a type of fat that your liver converts directly into ketones faster than almost any other fat source. A tablespoon in your morning coffee, blended until frothy, gives you a smooth, sustained energy boost without the crash you get from caffeine alone. It also helps curb appetite through mid-morning in a way that black coffee simply cannot match. People who struggle with hunger in the morning should try this before anything else. Number 10 is fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut, and this one took me the longest to appreciate. Both kimchi and sauerkraut are extremely low in carbs and loaded with beneficial bacteria that support your gut microbiome. Here is why this matters specifically for keto. When you overhaul your entire way of eating, your gut bacteria population shifts dramatically. Supporting that transition with fermented foods reduces bloating, improves digestion, and can even influence your mood and cravings through the gut-brain connection. A small serving of kimchi on the side of a meal costs almost nothing in carbs and pays huge dividends in how you feel. Here is the bigger picture you need to understand. Keto works best when it is nutrient-dense, not just low-carb. Too many people get stuck in the trap of eating the same few bland foods, meeting their macros on paper, but feeling terrible in practice. The foods on this list are not just keto-friendly, they are actively working for your body on multiple levels. They replenish electrolytes, support your gut, fuel your brain, reduce inflammation, and actually make the diet enjoyable enough to sustain long-term. If I had built my keto foundation around these 10 foods from day one, I would have avoided months of fatigue, cravings, and frustration. I would have seen results faster, felt better sooner, and actually looked forward to eating instead of dreading another bland meal. So if you are starting keto, restarting keto, or trying to break through a plateau, start here. Add these foods to your next grocery run, experiment with how you prepare them, and pay attention to how your body responds. The difference is going to be noticeable within days. If this was helpful, drop a comment below telling me which of these 10 foods you are most excited to try or already love. And if you want to see more honest, practical keto content without the hype and the gimmicks, subscribe because there is a lot more coming. See you in the next one.